Hello and welcome to Chuck's Culture Channel, your one-stop shop for lively conversation on the lively arts in St. Louis and beyond. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Who knows what time it is when you're watching this? Regardless, my guest this week is Marc Gordon, Executive and Artistic Director of the Chamber Music Society of St. Louis. As this is being recorded, their 15th anniversary season is coming to a close, and they're getting ready for their 16th anniversary in 2024 and 2025. Upcoming highlights for 24 and 25 include a birthday gala for St. Louis Symphony Conductor Laureate Leonard Slatkin, a return appearance by the ebullient conductor Nic McGegan, and special partnerships with Ballet St. Louis and Cinema St. Louis. Also, a special tribute to the late Peter Schickele and PDQ Bach. But first, some video. Marc, welcome to Chuck's Culture Channel once again.
Thank you, Chuck. Great to be back with you.
Yeah, same here. And let us start off by saying a few words about how you're concluding your 15th season before we get into your 16th anniversary season.
Good plan. We have 2 concerts left in this season. The next one is coming up on May 6th, which is a return visit to Vienna. That's a really popular one. I guess you put the name Vienna in a program and people are interested. So we'll focus on composers that either were from Vienna or made their careers in Vienna, so the obvious choices. And the big piece on that program is a Brahms violin sonata for violin and piano.
Okay.
And Hannah G. and Brian Woods will be the 2 folks playing that. And then there's some other, the usual suspects, as we'll say, for that one. And then the final concert of the season will be on May 20th, and that's a collaboration with us, Chamber Music Society St. Louis, and St. Louis Classical Guitar. And we'll have Isaac will be the soloist for the first half, all solo guitar stuff, and then we'll be doing 3 works with the strings from Chamber.
Okay. Now, we should mention, of course, that there is one more concert that's more or less the end of your season. That comes up in September, right?
That's a biggie.
Yeah.
That's right. We are extremely excited about this. We don't do galas very often. We don't have a staff to support it. And of course, they're labor intensive and expensive. But
yes, they are.
to kind of signify the end of 15 really incredible years, which will coincide with Maestro Leonard Slatkin's 80th birthday, we are planning a gala. And the gala will be at the Sheldon. And there's be the usual, a pre-concert cocktails where you can visit with Leonard for the VIP ticket holders. And we have some guest artists that are pretty spectacular. Pianist Olga Kern and violinist Jimmy Lin, friends and musical collaborators with Leonard all over the world and for many years. And then there'll be a short, probably about an hour concert with those folks and a couple of our musicians, and then post-concert dinner. And again, these are for the VIP ticket holders, but there will also be concert-only tickets available. So I think the concert tickets are about $40 or $50, and the VIP tickets that include everything are $275.
Yeah, so that's officially the last thing of the 15th anniversary season. So then, shortly after that, the 16th anniversary season begins, and I
Right,
know
and
there's some concerts there that you're really excited about. So let's talk about those.
it's funny, Chuck, that I always look ahead and to see what kind of, for the themes, what holidays come up on the Monday concerts that we're able to schedule at the 560 Music Center. And a lot came up for next year, so we're going to take advantage of it. So we're opening on September 23rd with Open Strings. And of course, the big piece for there that everybody loves is the Mendelssohn Octet for
Oh,
strings.
yeah.
And there'll be obviously a few other surprises. November 11th is, well, I should also mention October 14th because that comes out on Columbus Day. So we've decided to feature mostly, if not all, Italian composers. And that we're still building that one and looking for some partnerships to help us out with that. So we'll be celebrating, you know how many, there's just a billion Italian composers that contributed so significantly to our literature. We have a Music of the Night on November 11th, and another audience favorite, that's the obvious one, is the Mozart Eine kleine Nacht music.
Right.
So all the pieces on that program will have something to do with night. Then, as you and I have talked about before, November 25th is an unusual one.
Yes.
A few months ago, we lost composer and humorist Peter Schickele. And Peter, AKA PDQ Bach. He was a friend of Leonard Slatkin's. I think they even went to high school together. And Leonard called me after Peter passed away and asked about doing a program that will be not a memorial concert, but just to share some of the different variety of things he did, which will include some of his serious works as well. But of course, Peter created that fictional PDQ Bach, who he described as the youngest and least talented son of Johann Sebastian Bach. Works
master
like,
of such compositional techniques as accidental modulation.
Right. Some of his humorous works like the Concerto for Piano versus Orchestra, variations on an unusually simple-minded theme, Fanfare for the Common Cold, and of course the Short-Tempered Clavier, which we've actually played several times.
Oh yeah, okay.
And the one that I like the most is the prelude based on the Well-Tempered Clavier of J.S. Bach, the preludes and fugues in all the major and minor keys, except for the really hard ones. So, and then
give you an idea of his sense of humor, yes.
Yeah, and I actually remember people, I don't think I was here for that when I was a member of the symphony, but before I came here, probably in the late 60s, he used to do his concerts at Powell Hall.
I saw some of them,
Yeah, come in from the back swinging on a rope onto the stage. So, guy had quite an imagination. We get past the fall and we get into December, so we're going to kind of start off the holidays with a program titled Yuletide Flicks, which is a double feature of holiday silent films on the big screen as our musicians perform the music live. And this will be the second time that we've partnered with Cinema St. Louis in their relatively new home that is the High Point Theater. And that was a big hit last year. What's really interesting, too, is that I'm hearing from some of our audience members that they're bringing their children, who, of course, wouldn't have been around for these films in the 20s, and they're fascinated with them. So that's been really fun. So they're getting an education. They've never seen a Laurel and Hardy film.
Yeah.
So it was really exciting for them, evidently. And the audience has a great time. Conductor Andrew Green, who's a specialist in the music, ragtime music of that time and those films, will be back. I think this will be his fourth or fifth visit with us.
Okay.
So looking forward to that. And then, of course, we get to February and Nicholas McGegan comes back. And Nick hasn't
Yes.
been to St. Louis for a while with the symphony, but he seems to have a really good time with the relaxed atmosphere that we have at the chamber. So he'll be coming in for a concert on February 10th.
Oh yeah, I think I called Nic McGegan the most energetic man in classical showbiz. I mean, when he doesn't just walk on stage, he bounds onto stage.
So true. And it's
Yeah.
funny, Chuck, everybody makes note of that, and that his energy and how it just is so he's so emphatic in it, the audience just feeds on it.
Yeah,
So
it's infectious, and that communicates itself to the audience. You're right. You're setting up an expectation right up in front that this is going to be fun. So
right. And we appreciate that, because that's one of the things, of course, the artistry, both of the music and of the performers, is important to us, but we also want our audience to have a good time. It's got to
exactly.
be fun. So, and he's really a contributor to that. Later that month, we'll be bringing back for their fifth go around with us the jazz piano duo of Stephanie Trick and Paolo Alderighi. And that program is titled Four Hands, 88 Keys. So we'll do a little something on the first half, and then we turn the whole second half over to them. And they are so engaging to watch. There's a lot of, I'll call it shtick, that they do when they're at the piano, because it's one piano, four
Four
hands.
hands. Well, there is a lot of four-hand piano literature out there, but you rarely see it performed.
Yes, that's true. And they were the instigators. Nobody ever did jazz piano four hands. So they were the first, and as far as I know, the only that do that. And, we're just thrilled. Our audiences love to both hear them. They're fabulous musicians. They are really, really fine players and very thoughtful people. And Stephanie Trick is from St. Louis. So
okay.
it's an added plus. Then another one of those holidays, St. Patrick's Day, comes out. So we'll focus on Celtic music with that. And then yet one more holiday. We'll end our season on May 5th, which is Cinco de Mayo. So guess what we'll be focusing on that program. So, and we also use STL Barkeep that provides the beverages at our cabaret concerts. So they specialize in coming up with handmade cocktails. So I think we can pretty well figure out what the cocktail will be for that Cinco de Mayo concert.
Yeah, and of course the Pillsbury Center, where you have the concerts, is as you can see right behind me. It can be set up for cabaret style performances with tables, so that'll be a natural.
Right, and this year our audiences are so happy to come back to the cabaret style. When you walk in the room, you see all the tables with these beautiful red tablecloths on it. The room looks really pretty.
Yeah, it's great because that's not normally how people are used to hearing classical music, and I think it's great to have that alternate environment, because a lot of the pieces, especially in the chamber repertoire, go back to a time when, frankly, the performance environment more reflected places like the Pillsbury Theater than it did a big concert hall.
Yeah, true. And a lot of times they were playing while people were eating or drinking or dancing or all of the above. So, and then of course we've got our educational programs. We're working a partnership with the Gateway Music Outreach folks now to get to some of the younger players. Most of the education programs that we have deal with high school players and college players. So we wanted to get to them a little bit earlier and see if we can help their development. And that's a fabulous organization. So those will be going all year round. Our Raider Young Artists will be performing a preludes.
I like the outreach program, especially because I'm old enough to have gone to public school when there was a music program right in the school. I mean, you could start, as I did, like in 5th grade and just play an instrument for the rest of your career. And you don't see so much of that anymore. So I think we really need to encourage young performers.
Boy, have you hit the nail on the head, because that's exactly what our philosophy is, for a couple of reasons. One, to pick up the slack that the school curriculums have dropped, whether it's because of budget or culture, we're not sure. But we feel it's our obligation, just for the big organizations like Opera Theater and St. Louis Symphony, all of us smaller ones need to be contributing. And it's kind of self-serving as well, because those folks, if they're not going to be professional musicians, will be our audiences of the future. You know, it's interesting. We just did an interview with someone about a position with our organization, and she was at our concert last Monday, and she said she was sitting at a table with somebody she didn't know, and they started talking, which is what we love about that cabaret style. And he was talking about the music, and she said, "Oh, are you a professional musician?" And he said, "Oh, no, I'm a doctor." But he played the cello for many, many years. And that's a perfect example of what we're talking about.
Not 100% sure. That might be my doctor. I don't know. I'll ask you his name when I turn the camera off. But yeah, there you are. See, I mean, and there was a time earlier in our history in this country and elsewhere where if you wanted music, you had to make it yourself. And so most people played an instrument of some sort.
Right. Even taking Wagner operas down to piano four hands, which is the extreme. But you're right. That's how they did it. And then, of course, if you're interested in tickets, you can call us at 314-941-6309, or you can do things online at our website, www.chambermusicstl.org.
And you don't have to remember that stuff, folks, because all of that information is in the video description field right down there, right below me. So check that out for all the links and all the other information about Chamber Music Society of St. Louis, seasons 15, which is ending as we're recording this, and season 16, which begins in the fall of 2024. Marc Gordon, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Chuck. It's always fun to have a conversation with you. I'm glad to be here.
Same here. Thank you very much. Everybody out there, please spread the word about Chuck's Culture Channel. I do not accept ads for this. YouTube may be inserting them, but I don't get anything out of that. So please spread the word. Let people know that this is here. See you next time. Bye.